So that rape took place that same year, late. Then I told that guy who raped me, I'm going to tell my brother because of you are his friend. Then he said to me, you won't be able to do that. This thing is allowed in the church. I couldn't believe. So the bullet, when I pulled the trigger, the bullet ishaye there was insimbi lapha ishaye khona nge-angle, then yadubla yena ngasenhlizweni. I would like to greet you all emakhaya. My name is Kwanele Mabaso. I was born 2001 on the 16th of August. I have 3 siblings. There's a firstborn, secondborn, then I'm the thirdborn. Then there's a lastborn, a naughty one. And I don't know where I was born, but all I know, I was born. And my mother passed away 2012. I don't know who's my father. I didn't grow up in my family. Me and my siblings or my family, we were always scattered because there were always some complaints. Me growing up, I was a guy who was always liking to dance, going around around schools, dancing, liking. I used to like to play on train. There were a lot of things that were used to happen to me when I grew up. But before my mother passed away, she was very sick. So I didn't get that time to spend isikhathi nabangani because I will always be with my mother. I was supposed to always make sure she was okay because I was the one who was taking care of my mother. The firstborn was not there. He was there physical, but he didn't do anything. Same applies to the secondborn. I can't say much more about my little sister because she was so young. So I sacrificed school. I didn't go to school for the sake of my mother. I had to go to malls, going around asking for money so that my mother could eat. I wanted to buy her bread because she was HIV positive. Then it transmitted to AIDS. So that's what I made it. Choice it was because of I wanted her to feel better because you will always see Uguti she's not feeling well when you can see her. So after some few years before she passed away, I was framed. I was framed about a rape. They said I raped my sister. It was something else. It was quite strange. At that time, I didn't know what it's rape because I was way too young to understand the rape. My mother came because she was always in her boyfriends, making sure we must eat, we must have bread. So I was registered to a school called Makakula. I started there grade R to grade 3. Then I went to Phumelela. I continued with my grade 3 to grade 4. From grade 4 to grade 7, I went to Hleziphi Primary School. And when I arrived there, there was this thing called amakhubalo, where abantu bebahlezi bakhuluma ngawo. So I wanted to experience that part ukuthi what is amakhubalo, what does it relate with human beings. So I got involved with Makhubalo while I was in Hleziphi. I played on the train, staff. I was always making sure ngikhatlela namantombazana, because me growing up I was not smoking or drinking, so bengizithandela amantombazana. So as time goes on, my mother passed away 2012. After she passed away, it was really painful. I felt like it's like throwing away a diamond and picking up a rock. So she was everything to me, because me spending time naye while she was sick, I could tell Uti she's my really mom. Time went by. I was raped after her passing. The time I was staying on street, I was raped. Before that rape took place, I was supposed to tell her I was raped twice in 2007, but I couldn't because I was threatened. It was 2007 earlier. I was 6 years old. So what basically happened, I was with my auntie. My mother didn't come back that night, so I was with my aunt and my sister. We shared umbed because bumncane, so what I as in, you won't sleep on the floor, come sleep with us. So I slept on the bed. It was me, my aunt, then my sister. Para in the morning, my aunt said I raped my sister. I was so confused. How could she say something like that? Then she asked me, Kwanele, did you really do it? Then I said, Ma, what did I do? Because I don't know what you are speaking about. I don't know what is it that you are referring to. Then they called someone to do the demonstration. So after that demonstration, that's when I understand what they meant. So I told them, Mom, I didn't do such thing. How can I do into njengaleyo? Then they called amaphoyisa. I was beaten. After being beaten, then I stayed nabo. I stayed corner HRT. Then time goes on. I started staying on street. But I didn't stay permanently. I stayed, it was the thing of I'm going there for food, then I come back ngokulala nje HRT. So on the same year, 2007, after June, that's when I was raped. The first rape took place corner HRT. I was at my mom's yard. Okay, it's my granny's yard. I was there, then they were, who's this? My cousin, my uncle's cousin. I used to share what you call a room na, bedroom na. So he into ayenza now and then, because I didn't know what's kahle. It's something that it's wrong, because being lacking in knowledge, hence nase esikolweni ngaqala late. And you wouldn't get a grade R or a grade 1 bakufundisa nge-sex or nge-rape. So as time goes on, bekaluka yenza, I decided ukuthi ngihambe ngihlala lana. I roam around estradeni. When I met someone, I become friends with him. If he or she is older than me, then I will pretend as if ngumntanakhe. Then I will stay with him or her at his house without my mother's or without my family's permission. I stayed corner roaming around emndenini abantu abaningi. So me roaming around in those families, they kept on asking me, some of them, where is your family? What is going on with you? Then I kept on telling them lies, because I felt like even if I can tell them, they will want to take me back to where I am, to where I was. So the second rape took place same year. I was 6 years old. It happened around November, if I'm not mistaken. It happened around November. I was hungry at that time. I wanted to steal amajuba ngiwathengisa so that I can buy something to eat, because that's what my older brother used to do. So me watching him doing that, that's when I realized, okay, I can use this thing to buy something to eat. So that rape took place that same year, late. Then I told that guy who raped me, I'm going to tell my brother because of you are his friend. And he said to me, you won't be able to do that. This thing is allowed in the church. I couldn't believe. So as time goes on, then following year, it was 2008, sorry, it was 2008. My mother, that's when she was very sick. That's when I spent isikhathi naye. And when she came back, she didn't come to his family. She was somewhere else, so I had to go with her. So to make sure she's good, she's always fine, in good situation. Yase Chartini. So as time goes on, I stayed with her. After staying with her, we went to stay with my granny Mshweshwe. After staying there in that community, that was my first time to play stuff in my training, because I felt like me sitting at home, I always have stress. And bear in mind, 2010, when I was in Pumelela, I was bullied. So me being at school, me being at home, there was always that trauma. I don't fit here. So I started to play on trains. I started to play my training, playing on top of a trainee, my trucking, stealing a machuba. Then my mother passed away. When she passed away, it was 2012, February. I was 11 years old. When she passed away, it was something strange. It was something I can't even tell, because losing her in my life, it's like losing a diamond and picking up a rock. Me saying that that quote, it's like throwing away my diamond heart and picking up my rock heart. So after her passing, it wasn't good for me since then. Then my family didn't want to take me because I was always in my mother's side. They didn't want to take me. So my granny said, let me carry on staying with her. I stayed staying with him. He stayed with me. Then after some few months, I dropped out from school. After dropping out from school, I moved from Ekaya. After moving from Ekaya, I went to stay with my uncle. Everything was fine there until I was framed of stealing a phone. That's when I had a suicidal thought because being mentality I can go and draw myself a training, because everywhere I go, I'm always a suspect, yabantu. So after that frame, the second frame of the phone, it was really, really touching, because I was always beaten. I was always beaten. So it was hateful towards me. So that's when I decided to take the decision, let me go and stay on street. I stayed on street from 2012 until 2013, around mid-year. So I stayed on street, and believe me, there was peace. I will always make sure I eat. Even if I was that young, I was 11 years old when I was staying on street, turning 12 on 16th of August. So I will always make sure I have to eat, I have to buy. ShopRite 5 rand. I will always make sure even if I can eat sona kuphela, it will be fine. There was peace on street until ngashawa umphakathi. In fact, they didn't beat me. The community framed me of stealing ibhetri lemoto. So lana bang frame khona, I was always going there for sleeping. There were rooms, empty rooms. So at night I will always go there to sleep. So there were other people who were always parking their cars there. So one day I wake up after week. It was 2013 earlier, around February. So after that day I woke up. After waking up, I wanted to go and play with some friends that I met in that community. When I tried to get out, then I met this mother. He said to me, where are you from? I told him. He said, did you sleep here? I said, yes. Then she said to me, oh, you are the one who stole the battery and the wheels of a car. Then I was so boggled in such a way. You would say, how can I do those things while look at my body, ma. Look at me. I'm so young to do those things. Then they called the community, Basha. Then they gathered. Then after gathering, they kept on asking me questions, having ease in tabangang. But I kept on telling them the truth, which I didn't do what you said I did. So someone called cops. Then amaphoyisa was a one rescuer. Then I was taken to police station. After taken to police station, they said I must wash a police van. I tried to wash it, but I saw what I was in. No, there's no way. Let me run away here. The gate is open. They are inside the police station. Then I ran away. After running away, I kept on staying on the street. Then I think it was June or July. My uncle's girlfriend, she came to me. Then she spoke to me. Then she said to me, Kwanele, how about to come and stay with us, Zonke, or do you want to stay with me and your uncle? I said, no, I don't want to stay with that uncle because she framed me of stealing his friend's phone, and he kept on beating me in a way that I can't even say, because yeah, bibang limaza kakhulu. So I said I will rather go and stay as Zonke. So they said okay. They told my auntie, the one who's late, she passed away 2017. They told her, so they did the affidavit. Then I was taken to that place at Zonke Zizwe. After being there, I thought everything it's going to be well, it's going to be fine. Not knowing what it will definitely be worse. Then after being in that house, I stayed there first few months. Everything was good. The welcoming was good. Then 2014, things started to change. The children of that house started to hate me because of, bear in mind, I'm always respectful towards anyone. It doesn't matter what gender or what age are you. I'm always respectful. And when you want something, I will always make sure you get it. Maybe you want me to go buy something for you, I will always make sure ukuthi nyaya to so abantwana balapha they were not respectful, so they started to hate me because of their parents started to like me because of who I am. So they hated me. They called me street kid. I don't know how they got that secret that I was a street kid, but they started calling me street kid. Then it was hard also for me there. It was really hard. 2015, I went back to my uncle. After going back to my uncle, the one who framed me about the phone. So we made peace. Then I stayed with them. Then my aunt intervened. When she intervened, she said to me, Kwanele, I'm no longer happy about a situation or about the life that you are living la. Come and live with me. Then I said, okay, no problem, I can come, mom. We took my clothes, then I went to stay on Palm Ridge. After staying there, truly speaking, it was a home. It was a honey and milk home. So when I arrived there, the welcoming was good, everything was good, until I messed up myself. They caught me sleeping with a girl, so it wasn't good to them. So I was 15 years old, turning 16. So I was 15 years old because it happened before August. So I slept with that girl. So she came at my house, it was on Friday, then she left the next week Friday. When they caught us, I said, no, she only came yesterday. Because bear in mind, my father, okay, he's late. He was my stepfather. He was always at work. So my aunt, she was always groving. She was always out with her friends. So a lot of time it was me and her. I mean the girl and my auntie's little kids. So when they are at home, I mean when my mother or when my father they are at home, I will make sure she's in the car, because the garage is so big they can't see her until they say, let us do a spring cleaning. So they caught us. It was on Friday earlier. I was out with my auntie fetching imali, a grocery named Bash. So when my stepfather caught her, she was in my bedroom sleeping with my little brother. So he called me, Kwanele, vuga phela. He didn't know it was a girl. When he opened blankets, she saw what time, man. Kwanele doesn't have boobs. This it's definitely girl. Then she called my aunt. Then we went home. After arriving at home, I opened the garage and everything. Then masongena endlini. Then my father said to mom, go and look your son, what he has done. Go to his room. After going there, my aunt, let me say my mom said, I can't believe it, Kwanele. Close the butler. I was not supposed to lock that butler. They said I must close it, but I locked the butler. So we were beaten. Then the girl, they chased her out. After chasing the girl out, she was definitely out, not out of my life, but she went back to his family. Then at night they wanted to kick me out, but they couldn't. No, they couldn't because my aunt, she's so protective over me. So late on same day, late, I didn't sleep at home. I ran away, going around looking that girl, because I was blindfolded by love. Looking around that girl, where is she, man? Alright, like corner. Then I got her. Then after speaking to her everything, then I took her to my other family where they so they will always know me because of my birthmark. So they couldn't realize my sister. So when we arrived there, I claimed her as my sister. I said, she's my little sister. Then they welcomed us. Then we stayed there with my aunt, who's now my guardian. We stayed with her. Then around June, July, I decided to go back to school. Then I told her, Yazin, let us go back to school, plus your family is looking for you. Then she went back. I kept on staying with my aunt. Then on 2016, my aunt, the one who was late, said to my other aunt, yeah, you know what, I want Kwanele ahlale now for a bit longer until he changed his behavior. 2017, after staying with my aunt before she passed away, I stayed with her. It was me, her husband, and they had 2 kids, so I stayed with them. Then she passed away towards May. Yes, she passed away. Then after passing away, yeah, that was also totally something else to me. After the passing, there were rumors of saying, Kwanele, your stepfather is the one who killed your aunt. Those rumors came from ebantwini nje abahlukahlukene. So my sakala, I didn't believe them. Then as time goes on, my aunt were buried. She passed away in, where's this hospital? But it's a private hospital. So she passed away there. Then we were told at night, she was buried. After being buried, I continued staying with my stepfather. Began school. She was in, I forgot what it's this place, because in the way corner it's a quiet place, kind of a suburb place. So be Pezulu. So her walking on that place, something cut in your leg. So she lost a lot of blood. So hence she was admitted at Rodeport Hospital. So after being admitted there, they said to her ukuthi igazi lakho lilahlekile kakhulu. Them trying to find her igazi, that's when she passed away on that night. So before she passed away, there were also rumors of saying my stepfather used umuthi for his londa. Do you know mosizinto zesintu? You always have to if about doctor they don't see the problem, you have to go emntwini. So my stepfather trying to help my aunt. So the rumor said, it's your stepfather who killed your aunt. So she passed away, she was buried. Then it didn't ayingihlalanga kahle the thing yokuthi your stepfather killed your aunt. Then bengifunda ehleziphi, I was in grade 7. I was always bengena ngiphume ezikolweni. I was 16 2017, but when my aunt passed away, I was 15 years old. When I left school, I was 16. So it really touched me. Then I kept on roaming around with girls. Then my stepfather said to me, Kwanele, I want you to focus on school and leave girls. He kicked me out HRT. He said to me, Kwanele, I'm going to take you back to your family so that you will come, so that you can change your behavior. You will come back to me only when so kahle. Then imicabango yami in my mind begijima izinto eziningi kakhulu. Then kwapopha this thing yokuthi my aunt once told me ukuthi Kwanele, your stepfather wants my house. So kwaba yinye into, because I was always deciding like abani like mamncane wami. So as time goes on, stepfather some tried to kick me out, but I refused. Then they called my family. Then I was taken to Abumalum Kutmeni. I stayed with them. Then I said, no, my heart is not here. My heart is in Pambridge. Let me go back to Pambridge. Then I stayed with him. He said to me, Kwanele, I'm going to help you buy sleeping arrangements and food, but you must keep on going to school. Then I slept at his yard. He had gone, so I slept at his yard. So I stayed with my second stepfather. I stayed with him. He was a good guy. Then there was a day he was not at home. He was at work. After being at work, I was cleaning. So me cleaning, I saw his key saved. I took his key. Then after taking his key, I opened his safe. After opening the safe, I went back roaming around Nabangani. I took the gun out of the safe. I didn't know how to use the gun, but at that day, I managed to use it. So as time goes on, in fact, few days from that, I told there was this other friend of mine. I told him, I said to him, Mngani, you know what? I want to kill my stepfather because of he killed my mother. Then that friend of mine, he said, you can have everything, yagini, imoto zagini, indlu yagini, mal zagini. Then I said, okay, at least there is someone on my side. Then 3 days after, I fetch him. Then Sayoyenza, I shot my first stepfather. He was from Msebenzini. Then I shot him. After shooting him, I felt too no man, this person didn't do anything. The way he was so crying, then he said, Kwanele malume ungitubulilan. That's when I ran away. Then I called cops. In fact, it wasn't me who called cops. I called the ambulance when I was running away because I took his phone and the keys of the house. When I was going back to a Jartin to my second stepfather's yard, when I entered, he was there. Then I hid the gun. There was a car, and it's a disabled car, so it was broken. I put the gun in that car. So when I entered Endlini, he said to me, Kwanele, didn't you see my gun? I said, no, Dad, I didn't, because anyway, you are the only one who have the keys of the safe. Then he went out. After going out, I wanted to go and take that gun and put it to the safe. Then he saw me, no, I'm after him. Then I hide it myself emotweni. Then he went endlini. After getting in endlini, I took out the gun. Then ngithi sona. Then uphume this other 6-pack wheel. This wheel yokujima. So uphume a petalon. So me giving him a gun, he wanted to throw me with that wheel. So bengizama ukuvika. So ngithema ngithi ngiyavika. I didn't know when you give someone a spam, you have to give him ngesidunu sakhona. So trying to give him the gun, beka phethe that wheel ukuthi anginike. In fact, bekafuna ukungishaya ngalo cause ngithe mangena ungibone ngisiphethe the gun. So he said to me, here it is mostly spam. Uthe makangisha ngayo, me trying ukuthi ngavikela ngithe mangigoba kanti ispam usubheke ngakuye. In fact, besibheke ngakuye, but the bullet, when I pulled the trigger, the bullet ishaye, there was insimbi lapha ishaye khona nge-angle, then yadubula yena ngasenhlizweni. So ithe mayimdubula, when it shot him, I couldn't believe. I called cops. After calling cops, I framed Imed. I said I was from somewhere. My father, it's been shot and something like that. Then they said to me, where are you staying? What happened? Then I gave them wrong testimony. When I saw my parents' stepfathers crying, so I didn't like the way they were wailing. So I said to him, I said to myself, you know what, let me go and speak to detective. I called the detective. I said to him, "Detective, can I speak to you aside?" Then he gave me that opportunity. Then I told him, "You know what? I'm going to say this because of I trust you. I'm the one who did this murder." Then he didn't believe me because before I went to him, I received a call. So it was my girlfriend asking me, "Where am I?" Telling me, "Uguti, your first stepfather has been shot." So he thought, "Uguti, no, I'm working for someone." So I told him, "Uguti, I'm the one who shot my second stepfather." Then he said to me, "You know what, I'm going to do investigation, then I will let you know if it is really you." So I was not arrested at that moment. Then after a few days, that's when I was arrested. After confessing, Uguti, yes, I did the murder. Then the first murder popped out. Uguti, no, you know what, Kwanele actually shot his stepfather. So after that, I was taken to Soshanguve Secure Care Center. I was sent before I trialed 1 year 3 months. After trialing 1 year 3 months, I was sentenced. After being sentenced, I was sentenced to 4 years. I was sentenced when I was towards my 18-year birthday. So I was sentenced to Busasa. After being sentenced to Busasa, I met a lot of different guys inside a juvenile. Before being sentenced, I was sentenced to 4 years. Hence, all this case happened when I was before 18. I was not 18 years old, so I was sentenced under Child Justice Act. So I was sentenced to 4 years to Busasa. Then after being taken to Busasa, I met a lot of different guys there, a lot of a group of gangsterism. So me being there, it wasn't easy at first until I told myself, "Good, you know what, Kwanele, you are going to shape yourself out of this. We are not going to depend a pastor anymore. You are going to be someone ozosiphatha kahle." Then I started by forgiving myself, going to church, giving myself in kuma programs, doing programs, bengenza ama programs, the matrix, Bright Star, Right Mental Attitude program, I'm a program amaning. So me committing myself to those programs, I wang Caesar. Then I said I was sentenced 2018 around December. Then on 2019 June, I said, "You know what, let me go suing because ngithanda impahla, ngithanda ukuzigcokela." So me going there, I didn't know what I'm following my passion. So I entered the workshop leyana. I started to kufunda khona, I started to invest in kuyo, ngafunda, then I registered esikolweni ku-Abet. I started ku-level 4, ngaya ku-level 4, then I went ku-matric wami, ngaphasa u-level 4, I went to my matric. Then I kept on ukuthi ngithunge. After ukuthunga, I kept on designing a lot of garments. Well, I didn't do good to my matric because I had an injury to my left knee. So where we were writing, it was a wall. So it was always called, you will find me not finishing my exam because of the pain that I was in. So I went back Busasa. I stayed, I think it's 3 years there. Then it was permanently closed because of some izinto nje ezabo. Then after isivaliwe, I was taken to Soshanguve where I trialed. I was taken there. After being taken there, I kept on doing my program. I started motivating abantu. I started to preach izwi lenkosi, ngifaka i-Bible study. So After few months being in Soshanguve, I met a guy called Tabus Kosana. So me meeting that guy, he saw me advertising my work. So I was wearing one of my products. So he called me, he asked me, how much is this? I told him it's 500 rand. Then he said, did you make it yourself? I said, yes. He said to me, you know what? I would like to introduce you to someone. Then I was so surprised. Who is that person? Then he called a Mr. Tumsani Akri. Then after calling Akri, I spoke to that guy. Mailananese into the fashion. Then they invited me while I was in Soshanguve. They invited me to fashion show. Then they but okay, give us the motivation. Why do you want Kwanele? The motivation of request, it was for me to go and attend the fashion show. Then being released on one day, it was only once because I was supposed to go and attend the fashion show, then going back to that juvenile place. Then I succeeded. But okay, you know what, on this day Kwanele will be available. We will bring him. Then I was taken with some Amakewe cars in social work. I went there. Then after being there, I met abantu abaningi abahlukahlukene. Then I went back on the same day Soshanguve. I went there back. Then after being there at Soshanguve, I was there's one thing about me, I don't like to sit and don't do nothing. So I'm always hyperactive guy. I will always want to make sure it's okay. I want to do something so that I can keep my daily routine on good level. So I was always in the units. So after being in the units, they gave me a job at Soshanguve while I was inside. So they gave me a job. After giving me the job, I was working at the laundry department. They hired me while I was inside. They hired me. Then I was also nominated as one of the best behaved boys to go and attend Daily Theatre. I was interviewed by Daily Theatre. Then as time goes on, we entered August. Bear in mind, when I was inside, the time I was working a laundry while I was at Soshanguve, each and every month they will always make sure that you know what I get paid each and every month. So I went out of juvenile 2022 on the 16th of August. I was then released. I was totally released from the secure care. After being released, the fashion designer by the name of Akre gave me the internship contract. He gave me the internship. Right now I'm his intern. He said to me he wants to give back to the community. He wants to help people so that they can also rely on themselves and also help other people. Hi, my name is Kwanele Mabaso. I have been through the most.